What do you make of that whole situation over in Memphis?
I think Memphis was a bad city for an immature kid like Ja Morant. Ja
Mm,
Morant has what I call Canarsie syndrome, and I'll tell you what that is, right? So I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. I'm from Bed-Stuy, right? I went to school in Bushwick with a lot of kids from other different neighborhoods. Shout out to Skylar. Skylar kids stand up. So I went to school with kids from Crown Heights, from Flatbush, from Brownsville. Went to school with kids from Bushwick. Went to school with kids from Canarsie, right? And Canarsie in Brooklyn is a relatively nice neighborhood, right? Like most of those kids grow up, in houses, both their parents and everything like that. And because they're in Brooklyn and they're black, they go to high school and all these schools around, they end up intermingling with kids who don't quite
yeah.
have the same privileged background, right? But they want to be just as tough. That is Ja Morant, right? Ja
Mm,
Morant was a good kid growing up. Ja Morant, went to a private college. No, Murray State's not private, but went to college. And then when he gets to the NBA, he gets to Memphis. He's in West Tennessee, Memphis. One of the blackest cities in America, and kind of is learning how to be black and rich at this around an
and young.
element that he's
Mhm.
not quite mature enough to deal with, right? And I feel like as a black man, I'm qualified to say that,
Mhm.
right? Because you seeing him in strip clubs and you seeing, like he has this like, and especially kids his age, like love NBA young boy, right? And so you're kind of seeing that he wants to be a superstar personality more than he wants to be a superstar basketball player. Like that one clip of him that goes around where he's like, "Oh, stay on that side, stay on that side." Like, why are you
Yeah,
so worried
yeah.
about,
When he's walking through the tunnel after the playoff game or something like that. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's just like, go out there and hoop, bro. That you want to be like the guys who want to be you. You're the one with the real money, And I feel like and then on top of that, he had the injury stuff that was always likely because of the way he plays the game, and I think maybe that has informed his decline more than anything else. Is just he's a wiry kid, jumps all the time and kind of, your knees don't really last that long. Lower half injuries for guys his size are pretty
Yeah.
popular. But when it comes to the mental makeup of Ja Morant, and he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. I remember when he came back, and he came back last year, I think, after serving the suspension, and like first few games back, puts it on Victor Wembanyama's head. I'm like, that is what we want.
Yeah.
The league is better when Ja Morant is at his best, right? Like he just brings an element that you don't quite see anymore. And but as far as what's wrong in Memphis, I feel like because he hasn't been able to shoot and because he has a coach who brings in this Eurocentric style of basketball, it's almost like he feels like he's being left out the way that Derrick Rose didn't quite fit the triangle with Phil Jackson. They're taking the ball out of Ja Morant's hands and they're giving it to other guys. And I think he doesn't quite like that. But also, I think the losing is beginning and just Memphis's, I want to say, bad luck with health. I think that's beginning to wear on him because he probably figured he'd be much further along in his career in terms of the winning. It quite hasn't come, and because he's the main attraction in a city like Memphis, he's feeling the pressure from the fans who's like, we've been riding with you this whole time, and all you've delivered us is one playoff win. I mean, one playoff series win against the Minnesota Timberwolves when you were the 2 seed, right? So, and then just losing guys like Dylan Brooks, losing Des Bane, and Memphis is kind of going to like trying to build around that second wave around him,
Yeah.
but it's not quite looking like it fits because he doesn't like the coach. So I think Ja Morant has some growing up to do. I think he has to honor the profession that he has been blessed to play. I think he needs to take that a little bit more seriously and maybe take some PR coaching. Say a little bit less, be a little less available, and just focus on the hoop. And he'll be surprised at what would happen with his image off the court and the success he'd have on the court within a year.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Like your spin on it, because I'm thinking like him being in Memphis is probably uh better for him. Because if he was in a market, New York, Boston, LA, Chicago, like none of this stuff would fly. Like the media would be all over this guy, even if he's not making headlines. Just the losing alone. And you look at look at that draft class. Like look at the top three guys from that draft class. And it's like, I'm looking at RJ and I'm like, maybe you were the guy. Like just maybe you were. But like I look at
I
it,
think the answer is that there were no guys in the top 3 of that
no,
draft.
there were no number ones.
There you
I think
go.
there were no number ones in that draft. But you look at like Zion in New Orleans, and it's like, who really wants, like, his situation is a little bit different, but it's like who wants to be there, but you still want your bag. But it's like I don't know. Let me hit this comment up real quick. Hey, what's up, Skills? What up, sis? I see you. But I don't know. I think that's a good spot to wrap. But yo, real quick, follow us at I-95 Bully, at More Like Mensa, at Project Arc Sports NY on YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, and Apple.
Tune in to the Two-Way Talk podcast with Mensa and Bully. Join the boys as they discuss all the tri-state sports. Knicks, Yankees, Mets, Jets, NBA, NCAA, and more. The boys will also dive into local news and everything that matters to you. The Two-Way podcast presented by Project Arc is your home for everything from sports, the culture, local news, and everything in between. Always be sure to follow Project Arc for more updates.